got DD head coach Ricky Ponting with us. Who wants to go first? Please identify yourself and wait for the mic to come to you. Who wants to go first? Yeah, Devaduti.
Ricky, in a disappointing season, Rishabh Pant's performance, it's a standout performance. How do you analyze his batting performance?
Well, he has been outstanding, as you said. It's been an outstanding season for him. Obviously, wearing the orange cap right now, it'd be nice if he was able to retain that for the remaining games. But Kane Williamson, as we know, is sort of breathing down his throat. But I mean, it's great recognition for the personal season that Rishabh's had. But across the board, we needed a more even contribution from a few more of our top order batsmen if we were going to be a threat to challenge for the title this year. Shreyas, I thought, had a really good season as well. I think probably over 400 runs, so he can hold his head up high. But we just didn't get enough consistency from our batting group to be up there with the leading teams in the tournament.
Anyone else? Yeah, Rishabh.
Ricky, among the overseas players, a lot of players didn't get too many chances after one or two failures, but there has been a persistence with Glenn Maxwell, and he didn't really come to the party. What do you think had been lacking in Maxwell's game? 12 matches, today he had 2 splendid catches, but what was in general lacking?
I wish I knew. I've spent a long time with Glenn over the years. It was only a few weeks before this tournament came around that I spent the triangular series with him with the Australian team as well, and did a lot of work with him there. He was actually man of the series in that tournament coming over here, so he was coming here in good form and having played a little bit of T20 cricket. To be honest, I think the thing that probably hurt him the most was just how well Rishabh played, to be honest, because I think when we went to the auction table, we sort of picked our group of players, and I must admit, before the first game, I had Glenn Maxwell penciled in as our number 4 batsman for the tournament. He missed the first game, obviously for personal reasons, with Aaron Finch's wedding, which meant that Rishabh batted at number 4 in game 1 and played well. And when Glenn came back into the side, he was at number 5, and it's probably a position where he hasn't played all that much. And having spoken to him a few times through the tournament, he just said he felt frustrated by that he hadn't been able to have an impact on the result of a lot of the games for his team. So, look, Glenn, he's an outstanding cricketer, there's no doubt about that. He's had a disappointing IPL this season. We did stick with him because every game for us, every game for Delhi, even though we couldn't qualify, we were taking every game as if it was a final, and we wanted to put the team on the park that we thought was going to give us the best chance of winning the game. And if you look through the overseas batsmen that we had, we all felt that Glenn Maxwell was going to be the best chance of being a match winner for us. So we stuck with him. Even a game like tonight, opening the batting tonight, we knew that he'd have to bowl some overs at some stage with the amount of left-handers they had in their side. So that was why we persisted as much as we did with him.
Suresh.
Ricky, as you mentioned in the first question at the hotel, that Sandeep needs to learn lots. He's a young guy. But how do you see after his performance in the last three matches? And did you feel that he should have been included earlier? Do you feel like that after the 3 matches?
He's bowled really well in the last 3 games. But if you look back to the start of the tournament and what our starting 11 might have looked like, if you put a Rabada and a Chris Morris into that side with probably a Maxwell, it's pretty hard to fit Sandeep into the starting 11. Obviously, Morris played the first 4 or 5 games before he went home. We mixed and matched with Plunkett, Bolt, Christian, trying to find the right sort of combination that was going to suit different conditions around the country. But we always knew that Sandeep had the skills. We've all seen him for the last 8 or 9 weeks, bowling day in, day out. He bowls all day, every day with a smile on his face and just absolutely loves it. And it's great to see, guys like him, even Abhishek Sharma the last few games. Obviously we've unearthed a very talented player in Cricview Shaw as well. So we've got some really talented youngsters, of which Sandeep is one of them. And we're looking forward to him having a really long, successful IPL career, hopefully the whole time here at the Delhi Daredevils.
Vijay sir.
Ricky, how much did Gautam standing down as captain and not being able to play, contribute as a batsman later on, how much did it impact the overall combination and preparation for the whole tournament? And then how did Shreyas take over the role from Gautam?
Look, Gautam standing down, I don't think it had a negative impact on our team. It was probably came as a bit of a shock to a lot of the players that at the time, and even me, it came as a shock to me that he was going to make that decision to stand down. You know, that was I thought a really courageous decision for a senior Indian player to make. You don't see those sort of decisions being made every day, but he stood down for what he believed was for the betterment of the team, and that says a lot about him as a human being. It says a lot about his character as well. And obviously he made way, which gave Cricview an opportunity to play. As I said, Cricview's a highly talented young bloke. He's got to work on his running between the wickets, but other than that, he's a pretty good young player. And then Shreyas has stepped into the captaincy, and you know, once again, for a young guy like Shreyas, who has not probably done a lot of captaincy in his earlier days, it's a daunting thing to do, to have to captain an IPL team on the biggest stage in front of big crowds every game. But I think he's handled that challenge particularly well. He is a tremendous young guy, Shreyas, so he'll go a long way in the game, not only with the Daredevils, but with his Indian career as well. And I wouldn't be surprised to see some more leadership roles coming his way down the track as well.
Rishabh?
Ricky, as a whole, now that the season is ended, just want to go back at the start. Like, as an international captain, you are probably following international cricket and you have a fair idea about the kind of international players you want in the group. But probably you depend a lot on the Indian scouts when it comes to domestic talent. So at the beginning we had players like Rahul Tewatia and all playing, and you had to persist with them. So do you think the scouts got the Indian pool right, apart from maybe a Shreyas or a Prithvi? And Shreyas has been playing for 3-4 years. Prithvi is a well-known talent. Do you think some of the players, they got it right, the scouts?
Yeah, I actually do. I mean, I think if you look through some of the youngsters that we've played this year, you'd have to say some of the guys that you've seen, Cricview, Abhishek, Sandeep, these sort of guys, you have to say that they're some of the most exciting players that have actually taken part. Avesh Khan's another one who's played one game last year, but we've got a lot of very highly talented youngsters. And if you look at the results of our Indian players through this tournament, we can't blame them at all. Our Indian talent has been outstanding, and I think the Indian batsmen have contributed probably all bar about 400 runs that we've made in the entire tournament. So look, we can't complain there. I think our scouting was very good. And I mean, the other thing about the scouting is, just because you scout really well doesn't mean you're going to get these guys in the auction either. We had our eyes on lots of players, and it goes to the auction table, and if someone's got more money than you, then sometimes you can't bring these youngsters into your squad. But someone like a Tewatia, Vijay Shankar, Abhishek Sharma, as I said, Prithvi Shaw, Avesh Khan, we're very happy with the young talent that we brought into our group this year.
Last three, first throw.
Ricky, you just said that there's nothing to complain about from the Indians in the side at least, but in hindsight, I know hindsight is a wonderful thing, but in hindsight you think you could have tried a lot more Indians, because there were a few who did not get playing time, maybe because, especially given the way someone like an Abhishek Sharma performed in the last 2 or 3 games that he got. Do you think that in hindsight you could have tried more, maybe someone like a Jayant Yadav or a Manjot Kalra too could have got some chances? And also, second question would be, you won the last 2 games here, so you're going out on a high. What would you say that you've learned from these last 2 games, which again in hindsight you think could have been tried earlier on through the tournament?
So the first part of your question, could we have tried more Indian talent earlier? Look, the fact of the matter is we had a pretty tough draw as well. We had 5 games in a row away from home at the start of the tournament. We only won 1 of those games, so we sort of knew that debuting 17 or 18-year-old kids when we had our backs to the wall wasn't probably going to be the right way to go about it. So we stuck with what we believe are more experienced guys in those big games, hoping that we could win enough games to still be able to qualify at the end of the tournament. Up until about 2 weeks ago, we still had an opportunity to qualify, and I think we blew a game out here, maybe against the Sunrisers, which was that meant that we couldn't actually qualify from there. So look, I think we got the selections right, to be honest, with the young Indian talent. Look, as a coach, I would have loved to have seen Jayant Yadav have some games. He's a terrific young bloke that works exceptionally hard on his game. And as coaches, you want to be able to give everyone an opportunity, but sometimes you just can't. Manjot's another one who, 100 in the World Cup final, under 19 World Cup final. We'd love to see him play, but he's got to take someone's position. He's probably got to take Prithvi's position, and Prithvi, had played really well. So, in an ideal world, you'd like everyone to get a game, but you've got 25 players in your squad, and unfortunately, every squad, every year, there'll be some players that don't play. So, and what was the second part of your question? Oh, about the conditions.
The way you finished the last 2 games.
Well, look, at the end of the day, I'm just really proud of the way the boys have been able to stick at it. I think it feels that we've got a bit of reward in these last 2 games for all the hard work that we've done earlier in the season. I mean, we had so many games early in the season that we could have won, and there are quite a few games there that we should have won, and we weren't able to play our best cricket in the most important times of those games, and that cost us. And we sit here now with 5 wins and probably 2 wins from qualification. When you look back, there's probably 4 or 5 games that we probably could have won along the way. So but I think it says a lot about the players in this group to be able to go out on a high, beat 2 of the best teams as well. Let's not forget that Mumbai were on a great run coming into this game, and obviously Chennai were the game here against us. They would have been trying as hard as ever to try and finish on top, and we've been able to beat 2 of the better teams in the last 2 games. So I'm really proud of the boys for sticking at it like that.
Final question, please.
No more.
No questions.
That's it.
Yes. Thanks a lot, Ricky.
Thanks a lot.